I keep saying it over and over and over again.
Millennials. Like Millennials Falcon.
And now, coming to you from the K2 studios in San Diego, California, it's the world-famous Chris and Christine Show.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? I am Chris.
And I'm Christine, and welcome to the 8th episode of the Chris and Christine Show. Do-do-do-do.
Yes, 8. 8's one of my favorite numbers. I play 8 when I go to the casino sometimes, but it's always so far away when I try to play the game. It's like way on the other side. I usually play in the middle. And if my voice sounds a little weird tonight, it's because I am actually feeling a little bit under the weather, but here I am bringing it for you guys. Enjoy.
Thanks for pushing through, babe. We really appreciate it.
Hey, I do my best. I do what I can, and here I am.
There's no Chris and Christine show without Chris, so we push through. That's just what we do.
Exactly.
You
now here I am.
all are depending on us.
Well, I know. I know.
So last week we talked about cars and speeding tickets, and it's been quite a week in the car world in my life.
Yes, Christine, it's quite popular with the authorities. Actually, I'm sorry, take that back. She's quite popular with the insurance company. The insurance company, they love her.
Yeah, that speeding ticket that I got a while back, well, my new policy hit this month, and I was checking through my expenses because, it's like the auto pay every month. And I was like, what in the world? Why is my premium double? Totally forgetting that I actually had a second speeding ticket.
What? A second speeding ticket?
Hey, I was in a rental car. I couldn't control it. I was in like one of those big SUVs coming down the hill at Yosemite a year ago. Anyways, long story short, 2 speeding tickets on my record within a year.
Speed demon. Christine is like a speed demon.
I
should get her like a Ferrari or something. Get out of her system.
That would get me in trouble.
Or how about you do a few laps in the racetrack?
Well, I have Chantilly.
Oh, that's true. You got the
for
Camaro.
A while until she has to go in the shop, because the other thing that happened this week just happened yesterday, right, Chris?
What happened yesterday? Oh, that's right. Sorry, I had a brain fart. But yes, Christine actually got sideswiped on the freeway by some guy who didn't know where he was going.
Yeah, somebody in an SUV. I was merging. They drifted into me. Well, merged into me. So, yes, the insurance company really loves me right now because I had to file that claim and got a little bit sore, but I'm doing okay. So, Chris is under the weather and I'm a little bit sore, but we're pushing through, people. We are pushing through. We are here for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah. The Chris and Christine Show is now on Instagram at the K2 Show San Diego. Check out our latest pictures, videos, show teasers, and life updates on Instagram at the K2 Show San Diego. So, are we ready for this, Chris?
Are you ready? Are you all ready? Here we go.
We have a great show for you tonight. And
like always.
Yes, like always. And tonight we are talking about millennials.
Yes, the millennials. Now, I am kind of a millennial. Christine, are you a millennial?
I don't claim it.
But are you
they say the cutoff's 1982. For the record.
For what? Cutoff for what?
To be considered a millennial, you had to be born in 1982 or after.
Or new, or I'm
younger.
Sorry, recently.
So you have to be like 37 and younger. So technically, Chris doesn't
I'm only
qualify.
25, so that might count.
Chris doesn't qualify. He is a self-proclaimed millennial. Do you want to explain why you feel like you're a millennial?
Well, I feel like I also heard that I thought millennials were people that like became out on their own, like somewhere around the year 2000. Like around the 2000s, early 2000s is when they start to develop, like they move out. They kind of have like their own real jobs. They kind of start their career and all that fun stuff. So I kind of like fit into that category, so to speak, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I think that's where we're a little bit different. Chris and I were talking about this morning as we were prepping for the show, where in 2005, for example, we were in very different places in our life. At 2005, I had already been married for a couple years, had my first kid. I was like 3 years into my career. And in 2005, Chris was still figuring out what he wanted to do with
Yeah, I
his
was
life.
going out and partying all the time, and I was out every weekend. You can find me at the bars or the clubs or the music festivals. Or I was looking at some old pictures of myself. Oh my goodness! And I was like, thumbs up, drunk up, just getting crazy in the show.
And we're going to change topics now because this is a family-friendly
times.
podcast.
Yeah, it was fun times though back in those.
Don't repeat what Chris did, friends. But
What'd I do? Well, whatever.
Coming into his own in the early 2000s.
Yes, well, pretty much, you know.
Yeah. So Chris considers himself a millennial, so he's our resident expert tonight as we talk about millennials.
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
Okay,
well.
so I have one great hot topic for you, and then Chris has another one. And so the first one that we're going to talk about is this article that came out yesterday from EdSource. Have you read it yet, Chris?
Yeah, I subscribed to EdSource. It's right in bottom of my pile after Car and Driver, Road and Track, and EdSource. The ones that I always look for next to Popular Mechanics. Oh, and I think before I get into that, I have to go to Home and Garden and Parenting. I think after I can read all those ones, EdSource is the next one I go to.
You're such a dork. I read articles from EdSource almost every day. Maybe that's because I'm in education, but this one caught my attention yesterday as it came through, and I thought it would catch your attention too. So I'm going to read it to you. So this article is called Millennials Aren't Drowning in Student Debt.
Wait, they aren't or they are?
They are not.
What?
Right. They are not. According to EdSource, they cited a national report that just came out, and it said that this national report seeks to go against what portrays as, quote, an alarmist narrative that college debt is ruining most young people's lives. So it goes on to say that 66% of millennials have no student debt at all. That's because they haven't gone to college or because they managed to get through without having to borrow. And of those that do have college debt, their repayment burdens usually are not out of line with their incomes. The article said, or the report said, that typically 4-year degree graduates who borrow have $28,500 in debt that can be paid back with monthly payments of $200 or less. So overall, what it's saying is millennials aren't borrowing as much as is being portrayed because, one, they're either not going to college, or what they're having to borrow is nowhere near what other people have had to borrow in the past. But I had another take on it.
What's that?
I was wondering if millennials don't have as much debt because their parents experienced a lot of student loan debt and they're paying for it. So maybe all of these other parents are carrying the loans, so it is misleading because the millennials don't have the
Oh,
debt.
you're saying like their parents are paying for it, so they don't even have debt because their parents are flipping the bill?
Maybe.
Well, I bet that happens a lot, but I have a better theory. You want to hear my theory?
What's your theory?
My theory is back in 2008, we had the big financial crisis. Remember
Right.
that? Big recession. A lot of millennials went through that personally and kind of grew up through that whole process. And I think when it comes to taking out loans and taking out big debt, it's a real scary thing, almost taboo because of the whole situation that everything what happened with all the finances and stuff.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Keep going. That's good.
Well, it's true because I thought of it. But I'm saying that no, the millennials, they went through that. They went through that whole crisis. That's why a lot of millennials don't have homes because they're like, well, I saw a bunch of homes get taken and a bunch of people get kicked out in 2008, 2009. So they're like, I don't want to go through that. So
it's
they don't.
like a post-traumatic debt relationship. They are traumatized by what they saw happen to people that went through having debt and losing so much. And it's traumatized them from having to take financial risks that relate to debt. Because that maybe, that's huge insight. I've never even thought about that. That
just blew your mind.
Right.
Wow.
Seriously. It relates to a lot of the behaviors that we hear are stereotypical of millennials, like not wanting to commit to something, or
Right, like me.
I wonder if there's something to that.
Yes. Well,
You commit.
Well, yes, but I did go through everything the financial crisis had to offer in all its glory. I've experienced it all personally. Christine's experienced a little bit too.
Right.
And so because of that, it does make me a little bit weary on what to spend on, how to spend my money. I don't like to get into debt at all now. I like to pay things off immediately or fast as I can. So because of that, because of the financial crisis, it's kind of changed me, and I can see it changing in millennials too. So that's my millennial take.
Yeah, that's a really interesting take on it. So I guess in that light, like I could relate to that. However, Chris and I have long conversations about this. I have a lot of student loan debt. I have.
What? That's the first I'm hearing it. What's up with that?
Oh my gosh, whatever.
Oh my goodness. If it's more than $5, you're in so much trouble.
You're ridiculous. So I did need to take out student loans for my bachelor's degree, and early on in my bachelor's, I decided to take this year, my sophomore year, where I wanted to go to a different university, and it was a private college, and I had to use loans to pay for the entire thing. I was away from home, thousands of miles away, and I have been paying for that 1 year for a long time. But then to advance in my career, I needed to get a master's. And
let me brag on Christine for a little bit. Christine is amazing in her the world of work that she is in. Aww. She is the expert, top dog. And well, she's not a dog, by the way. I just put that out there, but she is like so well. Like she's one of those examples of your degree, your student loan debt, and your degree actually being worth it.
Right.
On the flip side, you get people that get big student loan debt and they default on it, or they change careers, or they just end up being a barista at Starbucks.
And there's nothing wrong with being a barista at Starbucks.
But don't go to college for that,
Right. I mean, it's all in perspective. So I guess that aligns with what they're saying about like why millennials aren't going to college. It's because they don't have a clear idea of what they necessarily want to do, quote unquote, when they grow up. And so instead of going to college and investing all this money, they're saying, well, let me just explore all my interests, and at some point I'll settle on something. Right.
And of course, a lot of them, hate to be stereotypical, but a lot of them will live at home till like they're 30, and they'll have a decent job, but they'll still don't know what to do. And they'll travel, they'll have fancy cars, and they'll travel around the world, go to Europe, go all these crazy things, because they do know that once they do settle down with a family and kids, those trips to Europe and backpacking across country are usually kind of out the window.
Well, one of the other things that we'll see among the millennial group is a lot of people that are co-housing together. So I know here in the San Diego housing industry, it's so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't afford to buy a house by myself. Chris is amazing.
You can. Oh, she can.
Chris is amazing where he was able to purchase his own home, and it's beautiful. We're in it right now. That's where the K2 studios are.
Oh, hey, spoiler alert. Hey.
We have a studio set up in here, but not everybody's like that. And what I have observed from a number of different 20 and 30 somethings here in San Diego is they don't want to go into the debt of purchasing a home or purchasing a condo, but they want the lifestyle. So they'll split a home or an apartment with 2, 3, 4, 5 other people.
Especially in like downtown or New York City. Oh my goodness.
Like downtown Little Italy in San Diego. To get into one of the high rises, it's like $3,000, $2,000-3,000 for a studio.
A studio. Was it like
studio.
400 square feet or smaller? Maybe
Smaller.
Smaller.
Right.
Oh, speaking of which, we got to tell everybody what happened a couple weeks in the news. It went nationwide about the rental. I sent it to you.
Yeah. Tell everybody about this story.
Okay, so check this out. In San Diego County, at someone's house, in someone's backyard, they are renting out a converted tool shed to live in, an actual shed in someone's backyard. You can rent it for just over $1,000 a month.
Right. Actually, the city had put forth an ordinance to subsidize people building these, they're calling them granny flats on their property, but they're not really granny flats. They're like tough sheds.
Right. This was the actual tough shed.
Right.
Somebody converted. They put like a sink, I think, in there. I don't know about a toilet, but it had a sink.
It has to have certain specs.
Yeah, it had a sink, a stove, a refrigerator. It was like 200 square feet.
It's like a new take on the tiny home.
Yeah, over $1,000 a month, and you guys who live outside the area, $1,000 a month gets you a lot, and here $1,000 gets you a tool shed.
Right. Yeah, it's really expensive to live in San Diego. But going back to the millennials idea, this conversation around student loan debt, I think it's a much bigger conversation, and I think you brought up a really good point, Chris, that I'd never thought about. And I'm going to coin it here. You heard it here first, people. We're going to call it post-traumatic debt relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
PTDR is something that is impacting millennials that have lived through the Great Recession of the mid-2000s, and maybe it's impacting their desire to be able to invest in their own education or homes or whatever. It's the whole YOLO mentality.
Yeah, and everything
right?
kind of trickles down if you think about it. Like, for example, you see a lot of these jobs that you thought you wanted to get into, and then the recession happens, and then people lose their jobs, or they think that the world's coming to an end, and so on and so forth. And then you're like, well, what do I want to do for work? I don't really want to do that, because if I do that, that might happen,
Right.
So you're kind of in limbo what you want to do. Now, we do have a list. We'll get that a little bit later. But
speaking of lists, we're going to come back right after this with our next hot topic that Chris is going to lead with our list for the week. So stick around. You're going to want to hear this. And yes, it does relate to millennials.
The Chris and Christine Show is available everywhere on Google Play with Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and iHeartRadio.
All right, so for our next hot topic, Chris is going to lead us out, but I want to tell you first what it is.
Okay,
so
what you got?
This list comes from Smart Asset. And
Smart who? What'd you say?
Smart
Excuse
Asset.
me. Watch your mouth.
And we're bringing to you the 10 most popular jobs for millennials. Oh, I can't even say that word, millennials. I keep saying it over and over and over again.
Millennials. Like Millennials Falcon.
Okay, so Chris is going to read the list, but I want to tell you that Smart Asset says that...
Excuse me, watch your mouth again, by the way.
I can't even say this. That there are a few reasons why these specific jobs are the top 10. And so we're going to tell you what those reasons are before we tell you what the jobs are. So the first reason why these specific jobs are the top 10 is first the internet. Because the internet has become vitally important to our everyday lives, the types of jobs that are emerging rely heavily on that.
Also, looking for internet, everybody wants their resume emailed in or, that kind of stuff. You can't actually just drop off an application at the front door anymore. You got to email it in, right?
Right. There's an element of needing to be tech savvy. Yeah.
Right.
So then the second thing is that millennials tend to not want physically demanding jobs, so they look for things that don't require a lot of manual labor.
Yeah, when I look for jobs, I want to put the minimum amount of work possible, on my resume. Willing to not do much of anything.
Oh my gosh.
Please hire me now.
You're a dork. You have a physically demanding
I know.
job.
I'm saying, if I was this millennial looking for a job off the internet
and
on my couch.
And we don't mean to tick you all off. This is according to Smart Assets. So
yeah, watch your mouth again, by the way.
All right. The next thing is that lack of experience. So if a job or a field relies on prior experience, it is most likely that a millennial will not have the experience to pursue it, so they tend not to.
If I'm a millennial and I want to be CEO, the first day, they won't hire me?
Oh my gosh, Chris.
Or president of the company?
Okay, and then the last thing that's leading to these specific 10 jobs is that millennials are tending to avoid jobs that are decreasing in terms of demand. Things like a dressmaker, travel agent, or a tailor are things that they're not really pursuing. So
There's always going to be a dressmaker, travel agent, etc., and all that stuff too, right? But not that many?
Not really. I mean, if you think about it, like a travel agent, I have a friend that's a travel agent, and I do go through him. He did plan my Europe trip. He's amazing.
There you go.
But
see,
other people go to kayak, Travelocity. I mean, it's not the same experience, but you can DIY. There's all these other Go Today Travel and websites where you can.
Oh, I know. It's all online. It's all do it yourself. Do it yourself.
Yeah, it is. So those are those 4 things, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Chris, for the list.
Okay, fantastic. Here we go. Now, this is the list of whatever site she said it was on. What did you say it was called?
Smart Assets.
Sorry, yeah, watch your mouth. That's the one. Yes, off of their list of these are the top 10 most popular jobs for millennials. So if you're a millennial and you want a job, these are most popular ones. You better get on them fast before they all disappear. So top 10, here we go. Number 10, we got a firefighter. Now, who doesn't love a firefighter?
I love a firefighter.
You know, I wanted to be a firefighter, but I realized you got to climb those big stairs with a backpack with all the stuff. I'm like, oh, gosh. Well, I'll be over here on the water break.
Well, you're so hot. I need to be the firefighter. Psh.
Oh, there you go.
But
There you go. There you go.
But
yes.
that's a physically demanding job.
It
right?
is. So it kind of like takes away from the actual, the other thing they said earlier.
Yeah, the disclaimer.
Right. But it does say that medium age of a firefighter is 38 years old. So,
And then it says that of the 252,000 firefighters in America, 90,000 are millennials.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
And they make an average about 48,000 a year. Now, this is a national average, so it will vary from county to county, city to city. So next up, we have, this is a fun one. Number 9, television, video, and motion picture camera operators and editors. That sounds amazing.
Who doesn't want to be a TV editor?
Right. Especially
That's
if you live in
fun.
the LA area.
Right.
Oh my goodness. I bet everybody who moves to LA just thinks they walk into a movie set and they want to be, I've heard it's grueling work, to tell you the truth.
But there's so many other places that editing is popping up because it's not just LA that's the hub of TV.
Well, I know
and
New York
Hollywood,
City
right?
and everywhere else, and even
all
Canada
these remote
too.
locations, Canada, Tennessee, anywhere where there's a lot of filming, you have to have editors.
Right, and also didn't think about this, but a lot of millennials and even younger, they love that YouTube. And YouTube, there's a lot of editing with that and figuring all that stuff out. And if you're really good, you make a lot of money. There you go.
Yeah.
Bada boom, bada bing.
I heard this new term today, and it was called Visco Girl, VSCO.
Is that a person?
It's like referring to millennials that use this specific social media app to like publish their own videos and things like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, it goes to this whole idea of we're all editors of something like Instagram stories. And it's like, I know it's app based, but it kind of is the groundwork for becoming like TV, video, motion picture camera operators, editors.
That's right.
Right?
Yes. And number 8, we got market research analyst and a marketing specialist. Those are the guys that looks like they go to the market a lot and they research.
Actually, one of my very best friends is one of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a sales market analyst, and she works for, I'm not going to say what the company is, but it's based in San Diego area.
Yeah.
And she does sales predictions and analytics for...
Oh, it's like data analyst type stuff?
Yeah, kind of, but it's
Okay.
analyzing market trends for a specific product and being able to predict out and project out what the growth is going to be so that they order enough.
Okay.
But it's like analytics and market trends and supply chain and that kind of work. I have another friend that does supply chain work, both millennials.
Oh.
And they're and another friend for another fast food restaurant. So yes, I have 3 friends that are millennials that fit that category, all in here in San Diego.
Perfect for the list. Now, number 7, web developers. Now, this is like designing websites and, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, I find that this is something that's pretty common too. And what I'm finding with this one specifically is it's because of a lot of the millennials like to work remotely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Work from home.
Right. Who doesn't? You know what I'm saying?
They call them digital nomads.
That's right.
So you can work from home. You can do this web developing no matter where you live. So you could be on the beach of Bali building somebody's website remotely and bada boom, bada bing.
You don't need some big like mainframe computer like in a basement like in the movies with all those
Nope.
like all big screens everywhere and they're like mission
not
control.
At all. Not at all.
Oh wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll check that. Web developer. Now number 6, A physician assistant. Now, physician assistant is like also like a assistant to the doctor. It could be like a nurse too, right?
Well, they're a little bit a higher grade. They're one step below a doctor,
Okay.
but not a nurse. So my mom's actually a nurse practitioner / physician assistant.
Okay.
And so I know when she went to school, she didn't actually have to get a bachelor's degree. She really wanted to, but it was a certificate, but it took a couple of years. So you still get the experience, you still get the education, but you get to operate at a higher level. You can operate independently from a doctor, so you can prescribe medications, and so it's not a typical nurse. It's a step above.
Okay, it's like a
But
little better.
Right, but I could see how a person that maybe didn't want to go to med school but still wants to be in medicine.
Who wants all that? Who wants all that schooling and all those, all that student loan debt?
Yeah, so I don't know if that's the case now where you can be a physician assistant without getting a full 4-year degree. But it does say in here that the median age of a physician assistant is in the mid-30s, I think.
39 years old, it says
Right,
here.
and it's a 6-figure income.
Oh, that's pretty good. There
Yeah.
you go. Now, number 5 on the list also relates to number 6. It's emergency medical technicians or paramedics.
Right.
Those guys that are driving the ambulance, EMTs, a lot of those guys are pretty young. They're usually between age 25 and 34. So they're the high demand job. Every time I see paramedics or EMTs, they are pretty younger people that actually do it.
Yeah, it was so funny. Chris and I were hanging out one night and we were getting gas in my car, and there was these 2 ambulances or like emergency transport vehicles coming in.
Right.
And like out of them was like 6 20-something guys that hopped out, and I may have glanced a little bit too long.
Well, I was waiting for the hot chick to come out because usually they are. It seems like every time I see those vans that get gas, there's always a cute girl that's driving too. Shout
Right.
out, by the way. Sarah, what's up?
You're so inappropriate.
I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Sorry,
Well-
Megan didn't mean to exclude you too.
I did check out the drivers that night. Not gonna lie.
Okay, well, we
Yeah.
all did.
Yeah,
Okay.
we all do. A little bit
All
of eye
right.
candy doesn't hurt anybody.
I know. Candy for your eyes and candy for your soul.
I can't even with you tonight. You're too much. Okay, let's
thank
keep
you.
going.
Okay.
Number
4 is in the world of advertising and promotions managers. That must be like billboards and commercials and kind of with web development, kind of like with TV and stuff too. I would think it's all related. It's all fun type stuff, really, if you think about it.
Well, I think that this relates to not just like individual campaigns. So not to be cliche, but I do have 2 friends that work in this area also.
Well, look at you. You're killing this list.
They're female millennials, but one works for a big box fast food restaurant and another one works for like a mom and pop marketing shop, but they do ad promotions and marketing products and things like that. And it gives a lot of flexibility and creativity and autonomy. And I think that's what some of the millennials like is purpose. They like to feel like their impact is being made
They're
within an
creating
organization.
something maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
creating, ideating, yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay, and then number 3 on the list, we got financial analyst. Now, this sounds, it's more popular with a popular occupation for graduates with a bachelor's degree. It shows that the data is about 307,000 financial analysts in the U.S. and 126,000 of them are millennials.
I'm wondering if this is because so many of them have parents that are that one generation below the baby boomers, and baby boomers might not have been saving as much, which are their grandparents, and the parents are feeling that, and so the kids say, well, I want to be a financial analyst, I want to help you save better.
Right, and that's all goes back maybe to the financial crash of 2008. It all could go
Yeah.
back full circle. Who knows, That's number 3. Now, number 2 on our list is a fun one. Now, a lot of these jobs on here seem kind of fun if you think about it. Like, this
Right.
sounds kind of a fun job to do. Like, nobody in the list says, I want to be a hole digger or, something like that. So, number 2 is a bartender. Now, where you can party, drink, and get paid at the same time.
Right,
Bartender.
and it says in here that the median bartender earns only $20,800 a year.
Yeah, but you work like what, 2 nights a week or whatever.
Well, but here's the thing. That's reported income.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
It's all tips, huh?
Tips are huge when it comes to anything service oriented. And if you if you think of bartenders, when you work in a restaurant and you're a bartender, you get tipped out from every server. They typically have to tip out 10%.
And you're talking like a regular restaurant. I'm
Right.
talking like a club. If you're like a Vegas bartender at a club, forget about it.
Even
You're
better,
probably so rich.
Then you're getting straight tips.
Oh, yeah.
Again, not to keep beating this, but I have a couple of friends that work as bartenders.
Look at that. Christine is killing this list. She knows this whole list inside and out.
Reportable income for these individuals is like $20,000, $30,000. They're banking 6 figures every year.
Ooh-wee.
Right.
Cash, too.
Cash under
Whoa,
the table.
man.
Can you imagine that?
The only problem I find out when that job's like that is, say you want to go buy a house, right?
Right. That's exactly the problem.
You want to buy a house, and they're like, yeah, well, I make 6 figures. Well, according to your W-2, you only make 20 grand a year.
That's exactly what it is. So I have a couple of friends, the same ones, that one of them works at a restaurant and is like, I want to buy a house, but my W-2s don't show it. So it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the first topic. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, and number 1 on this list, is that a statistician?
A statistician. Yeah, that's like my job.
Excuse me. All right, Christine, go take away that one. I don't know what that means.
So a statistician, these are people that specifically are working around big data. So big data sets that are able to manipulate and report on large data sources. So typically in older years, in past years, people for these types of jobs would have had to have some kind of like economics degree or math degree or something like that.
Wait, they don't need that now or what?
They don't necessarily. Actually, I was just talking with a colleague yesterday because we have a need in my organization. Like, I work in the data field. I do a lot of data analytics work, but we need someone that can do all the analysis so that we can go deliver the professional learning.
Well, can't you just run that through your phone and say, hey, Siri, figure this out?
No. But according to Smart Asset, it does say that the job of statistician is the fastest growing job among millennials.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why they want to jump on that so quickly.
Right. It's super interesting because it's like so demanding in terms of statistics, data analysis, but yet you can do it without having to have a college degree. So friends, that's our list of the top 10 jobs right now for millennials. I know you were super fascinated by it.
Yes, definitely.
I caught Chris with his mouth full. What you all can't see right now is, he's had a little bit of a cold, so I made him some of my magic tea. It's like filtered water, fresh lemon.
It's amazing.
Fresh cinnamon, and organic honey from my hometown, Kingsburg.
Ooh.
Whoop, whoop, K-Town in the house.
Fancy pantsy.
Yeah, so I cook it up. Get it to boiling. So he's sipping on that. So sorry, I caught you with your mouth full. But yes, that was our top 10 list of jobs for millennials.
Fantastic. And next on our list, we have our traditional Would You Rather.
So I'm going to ask you this Would You Rather, Chris. Are you ready for it?
Yes. What you got?
In alignment with our topic for tonight, my question, sir, for you is...
Thank you.
Would you rather have a job that pays $80,000 a year and live with no student loan debt, or have a job making $125,000 a year and have $50,000 of student loan debt?
Well, if you look at the math on that, the $120,000 a year with the $50,000 student debt, so 125 minus 50 comes out to what? 75.
Right.
So it's actually 75 is actually less than 80,000. So I have to take the 80,000 and no student loan debt. Bada boom, bada bing. That's how I look at it.
I like that you figured it out that way. And the way I was thinking about it, I would take the higher job because if I'm already at a higher job, the earning potential over time.
Well, you didn't say that in the equation.
Right,
It doesn't
but
say
you
that.
have to think into it. And, $50,000 of student loan debt is a lot. But on a monthly payment, it might not be that bad. And if you think of advancement and then you have a degree to lean back on, I would opt for that. Well, thanks for sticking with us this week, everybody. We appreciate you being with us. And listening week after week. We want to give a shout out real quick for all of our listeners in the different countries that joined us, because we had some new friends this week. So thanks again for Spain for joining us, for Canada, for Australia, and we had Norway come
That's
on
right.
board. So
Yes.
thanks for all of our international listeners, and especially our U.S. fan base. We want to give you a shout out, and I think we had some of our cities. We're going to shout out different cities every week, but a new one that we saw this week was Caledonia.
Oh,
So
really?
for our listeners in Caledonia, I love the name of that town. I've never visited it. We're giving you a shout out, Caledonia, in the house. Thank you, everybody, so much. And we will be back with you next week.
You guys have a fantastic week, everybody. See you guys later.
Remember this week that life is too short to wake up in the morning with regret.
So love the people who treat you right, forget about the ones who don't, and believe that everything happens for a reason.
If you get a chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said that it would be easy.
They just promised it would be worth it. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris.
And I'm Christine, and until next week,
Keep moving forward.